Quarter-final time in the Champions League, 4 giants with the scoreline on their side and 4 colossuses forced to attack. Everything looks set, right up until the moment the ball starts rolling. Let's start with Wednesday, which promises to be a nerve-shredding night. The first clash is Bayern Munich vs Real Madrid, a tie that on its own already carries decades of history, comebacks, controversies and nights that defined eras. This time, the team arriving in a better position for the second leg is Bayern, a 2-1 win on Spanish soil, a result that completely shifts the balance of the tie. Winning away at Real isn't just a sporting advantage, it's a psychological statement. The German side return to Munich with the feeling that they've done the hardest part and now play at home knowing that a draw will be enough. But if there is one club in world football that never panics in this scenario, it's Real Madrid. Losing 2-1 at home is a bitter scoreline for the fans to swallow, but at the same time it keeps the tie very much alive. A single away goal can flip everything on its head, and Real are specialists in turning Champions League nights into epic tales. Bayern know this and, even with the advantage, cannot step onto the pitch thinking the job is done. At home, backed by their crowd, they'll want to impose the tempo, press high and use the strength of their attack to kill the tie early. If they drop too deep, they risk feeding exactly what Real like most, that feeling that this is a remontada night. This tie has a curious tone. Bayern come in with the status of having produced the perfect away result, but they're facing the team that, in recent years, has turned around the most unlikely knockout ties. The German advantage is real, tangible, but Real Madrid's shirt weighs so heavily that any early away goal in Munich can turn a controlled game into emotional chaos. It's no exaggeration to say this is the most Champions-like tie of the lot. 2 heavyweights, a 1-goal margin and the constant sense that nothing is settled until the final whistle. Also on Wednesday, Sporting vs Arsenal closes the night with a very different story but just as much intrigue. In the first leg in Lisbon, Sporting lost 1-0 in front of their home crowd. It's one of those scorelines that hurts because it looks small but is huge in a 2-legged tie. Arsenal did exactly what they needed, scored away, held on and go back to London with the tie in their hands. Now, playing at home, the English side have the comfort of going through with a simple draw, which completely changes how they approach the game. They can control the rhythm, keep the ball, choose when to accelerate and, if they score first, they'll leave Sporting in an almost desperate position. For Sporting, the task is tough but not impossible. More than tactical, the challenge is emotional. After losing at home, they travel to London needing to win. Any draw sends them out. That means Sporting must be incredibly competitive, able to suffer without the ball and, at the same time, find ways to hurt an Arsenal side that feels comfortable controlling matches. The key could be the first half. If Sporting manage to withstand Arsenal's initial push, avoid conceding and even nick a goal, the whole tie flips. But if they concede early, things are likely to unravel, because turning around a 1-0 defeat away is already hard. Coming from behind in London is a level above. Arsenal, meanwhile, face the challenge of not confusing an advantage with absolute safety. The Champions League has a very recent history of teams who felt too safe going into home second legs and ended up being shocked. The crowd will do their part, creating pressure on Sporting but also demanding personality from Arsenal. If the English side keep their heads, use the ball well and refuse to be dragged into chaos, the quality gap should tell and they'll be favourites to seal the tie. Even so, it's knockout football. A freak goal, a well-struck set piece or a single mistake can reopen a tie that, on paper, looks under control. On Tuesday, all eyes turn to Spain, with a heavyweight clash that carries an extra ingredient, domestic rivalry. Barcelona and Atletico Madrid go into the second leg in a curious situation. In the first game, Atletico pulled off a surprise, winning away from home and taking an advantage few people expected. Beating Barca on the road in a Champions League tie is a huge achievement, even more so in a season where the Catalan side are top of La Liga and, in theory, enjoying a consistent domestic campaign. That first leg result completely changes the logic of the tie. Atletico now host, with a lead and needing only a draw, while Barcelona are forced to win. Atletico are historically comfortable in this kind of scenario. With the advantage in hand, playing at home and able to sit in, stay compact and attack on the break, it's almost a tailor-made script for their style. The Madrid side know how to suffer, how to drop into a low block, how to break the game's rhythm and, when space opens up, they've got the quality to hurt opponents in quick transitions. Their fans will play their part too. Every tackle, every 50-50 will be another boost to keep the game plan intact. On the other side, Barcelona go into this with a mix of weight and urgency. They're top of La Liga, which is no small thing. It shows consistency, quality, and the ability to accumulate points over a long season. But the Champions League is a universe of its own. Here, one bad first leg can put everything at risk in the return. Barca must be the protagonists, take the initiative, attack from the start and at the same time avoid overexposing themselves. Conceding early could be almost fatal, turning the task into an almost impossible climb. But if they score first, confidence comes flooding back into a squad well used to big European nights. This tie has all the makings of a tense affair, with Barca needing to speed things up, create and shoot, and Atletico doing everything to break up the rhythm, slow the game, use tactical fouls and control the clock. Barcelona's margin for error is minimal. Any defensive lapse could cost them the entire tie. On the other hand, if they manage to impose their quality and break down the block, they have everything they need to turn it around, even if everyone admits it's a difficult scenario. Leading La Liga guarantees nothing, but it shows Barca have the football to at least believe in a comeback that would be talked about for a long time. Rounding off the quarter-final slate, we have another clash rich in tradition and shirt weight, Liverpool versus Paris Saint-Germain. In the first leg in Paris, PSG did exactly what they needed to make the second leg at Anfield a minefield for Liverpool. A 2-0 home win, built with authority, gave the French side a big advantage. 2 goals up in the Champions League is always a powerful cushion, especially for a club used to big spending, packed with star names and utterly obsessed with this competition. But Anfield is not just any stadium. Liverpool, even in patchier moments, have a recent European history full of nights that defy logic. Unlikely comebacks, hammerings of giants, games where the atmosphere seems to play as much as the 11 on the pitch. For the fans, that 2-0 deficit away feels huge, but in Liverpool it becomes an invitation to dream of yet another epic night. The team know they need an early goal to light the place up and make PSG feel something that has traditionally bothered them, emotional pressure in a knockout tie. PSG, in turn, arrive at the second leg in a position they've known before, a strong advantage after the first game, using the Champions League as the ultimate test of their maturity. If they can manage this 2-0 with intelligence, controlling the game's key moments, cooling things down when needed and exploiting the spaces Liverpool will inevitably leave, they'll be in a great position to go through. One away goal for the French side makes Liverpool's task almost impossible, forcing them to chase a near unthinkable scoreline. The big question is, can PSG finally show they're capable of playing with a cool head in hostile environments without melting under pressure? At the same time, Liverpool know they need to be aggressive but not reckless. If they attack without balance, they'll present the perfect scenario for PSG's pace and attacking talent. If they're too cautious, they risk watching the clock tick down with the French advantage untouched. Finding that sweet spot is tough, and that's where coaching experience, on-field leadership and the energy from the stands come in. This is the kind of game where a single goal changes everything. If Liverpool score, the stadium turns into a cauldron. If PSG do, the whole mood freezes. In the end, we've got 4 ties, 4 different stories and one common thread. Nothing is completely settled, but all 4 teams with the lead go into the second legs with one foot firmly in the semi-finals. Bayern, Arsenal, Atletico and PSG step onto the pitch with a duty to finish what they started in the first leg. Real, Sporting, Barcelona and Liverpool carry that mix of hope, pressure and near perfection required to flip a knockout tie. So after all that, who do you think actually makes it through?